Allah says a person you should envy is a person who is wealthy and spends their wealth in the way of Allah Almighty. In other words, they spend their money unselfishly to help those who are in need. And then a person who has knowledge and shares that knowledge. They are the only two people that Allah Almighty says that we lawfully can envy. What are we doing? What are we doing with our lives? We're playing. Allah gives this kind of opportunity. And it's running. This is 9 days. We've been fasting for 9 days. Ramadan is running. Ramadan is not playing. The month of Ramadan is not playing. This is an entity. This is a spiritual power that has life. That has a consciousness. That's aware. Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, is one of the attributes of Allah Almighty. Allah has let His attribute run amok for us, and we take it lightly. It's crazy. It's like a person that is wealthy that's begging, that's out begging, and they have wealth. This is why are you begging? Because I need this, but you already have this. And they don't accept it. They don't believe it. Guidance is also one of the al-hadi. That's one of the guide. That's one of Allah Almighty's attributes. When Allah sends guidance to us, that's Allah's attributes in the person of someone. Allah is looking for every opportunity to bring us to His house so we may be in security. And that is the whole point of the Hajj. The Prophet Ibrahim and Ishmael salam, that they built, and he prayed, oh Allah, let it be a place of tranquility and security and safety for the believers. That was just symbolic. Because everybody just go there. There's so many things happening there. It's not just to going there to a physical building. Because Allah says, Kalban Mukman Beit Allah, the heart of the believer is the house of Allah Almighty. A believer that has Allah Almighty's in them is much more than a physical brick building. And that's why the guidance was so important and so powerful. And that's why Allah, when Allah went to visit Moses, and Moses was saying, oh Allah, was going to visit him, and Moses just neglected the person that came to give Moses salams, and he wanted hospitality. And Allah later told him that I came and you rejected me. I am with my friends. So he could not recognize that Allah, something of Allah Almighty that we cannot imagine about Allah. There's nothing that is impossible to Allah Almighty. That's why Allah Almighty sent Khidr salam to him to teach him the higher knowledge of things. To take him further higher into the divine reality. To get him further out of his intellect. To take him far beyond his humanity. And to allow his ego to be a servant of that. But we don't understand. We're so selfish. And that's why I know everyone is not coming up. And that's why we have to beg for sustenance. Instead of everybody bringing everything, fi sabilillah, so Allah will multiply what you are bringing. You are keeping it, thinking that you're going to diminish it by keeping it. But in reality, you lose it by keeping it. The paradox is you keep it by giving it, because Allah restores it. It is not restored when you hold on to it. We don't get it. And that's why humanity is suffering. All humanity is responsible, but mostly Allah is holding the Muslims responsible. Because guidance came 1,500 years ago. During this month, the holy month of Ramadan. And yet we have Muslims sitting idly by. I don't want to do this. I don't want to pray. I don't want to do this. I can't fast. I can't give. Why can't you give? Allah is giving to you to give. Allah is saying, just get in the assembly line. Pass it on. Pass it on. You'll be all right. It's still coming. It's never going to stop coming if you're giving. That's how the wealthy gets wealthier. That's how those who have that spiritual connection, that spiritual knowledge, they give us information that's not even in books. And it continues to come and to come and to come. And when I ask them to fast, they know that that is such an opportunity for them to even gain even more. They are greedy for their Lord. The prophet said, I am impoverished to my Lord. People thought that when the prophet, people found him saying, I love being in poverty, they thought he meant he loved being broke. That was not it. They had the best of swords, the best of horses. They wore the best of clothes. They had the best of tents. Leather, the prophet used to have a leather tent. Their garb was immaculate. Their swords was like phenomenal. All you got to do is go to the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul and see the relics. They didn't look like that was poor to me. Look at the Ottomans. You see they have the whole museum. You saw their dress. They had, even on their swords, they had embroiderment in gold on their swords. Bismillah Rahman Rahim in gold. And different jewels. Because they conquered everything. Because they gave everything. First they conquered themselves and submitted their will to Allah Almighty. Then Allah Almighty put dunya at their feet. We don't understand that when you chase Allah, you submit your will to Allah Almighty, Allah will make the world to submit to you. Otherwise, we're going to be divided, conquered, we're going to be in poverty, we're going to be mentally disturbed, we're going to be crazy and lazy and selfish. And that's the humanity of the day. How do you think we're going to ever stop people killing in the streets? Talking to them? Give them a little money? No. There has to be a people to be raised up that submit totally to their Lord, and their Lord works through them to bring about the greater good. That's the only way it is. You look through history, that's the only way it has ever happened. You don't think there has been this kind of decadence in the world? There were people killing their daughters. This thing that you hear all the time. Oh, someone killed his daughter. First daughter, he killed his daughter. They just buried her alive. This is common. That was common. Don't educate your females. Keep them enslaved. Don't let them be liberated. Oh, that person's not the right color. Put him in slavery. All of that was common in the same place. When Islam came, it abolished all of that. It freed the women. It freed the slaves. It freed all of them of the slavery of their nerves. Because they submitted their will and they were disciplined. When Allah said fast, they fasted. When Allah said give, they gave. When Allah said work for the community, they worked. When Allah said fight, they fought. What are we? I don't think that we represent them. As soon as we leave, we're going to be in our own little individual thing. Begging for the rent, begging for that, begging for this. Why wouldn't we have a place, or shouldn't have a place, a big place where we can invite all kinds of people to hear what we hear every week? That's not coming from books. And you accept this. You accept to sit idly by and allow all the other humanity to suffer because of our selfishness. We're going to be held responsible. We're going to be held responsible. If we don't do something radical or drastic this Ramadan by mastering ourselves, it's going to be holy hell after Ramadan. Slipping and sliding, dipping and flipping. We don't have that kind of luxury.